When Louis Hewitt, the millionaire owner of even more orchids than Nero Wolfe, asked Wolfe to loan him Fritz Brenner to cook the annual dinner of the 10 for Aristology, a society devoted to perfection in food and drink, Wolfe not only allowed it, he agreed to attend himself. Besides, if he had stayed home, who would have cooked his dinner?
Quiet! Merci. You'll each be assigned one gentleman, Miss Peggy Chott. You'll be assigned Vincent Pyle.
Oh, well, yes. I'm Archie Goodwin. I'm a friend of the cook's. Sorry, Felix. Pardon. Carry on. My reason for wanting your phone number is purely personal. It's your dimples.
I don't have any dimples.
Oh, yes, you do. Actually, you have two of them. So?
Nora Jarrett, without an H.
Where would it go if it were there? Yeah, I feel good. Sorry. I must confess something. I came here tonight determined to get the phone number of the most irresistibly beautiful woman. But I am stalled. I cannot complete my mission. You know why? Because you're all lit. You are all lit beyond the wildest dreams of any poet. It may be that I am so dazzled by the collective radiance that I am blind to the glory of any single star.
The 10 for Aristology was a group of very different men, alike in only one thing. They had the money to be Aristologists. Since they billed themselves as lovers of great grub, I expected them to be the size of Nero Wolfe. But they all saw themselves as big in their own right.
Shareholders? Sharecroppers is more accurate. The corporation takes the share.
My compliments,
and steals...
Wolfe. I've never seen Cymbidium Aphrodite better grown.
I don't care for flowers with spots and streaks. They're messy.
Don't be foolish, man. They're incredibly expensive.
I would not attempt to breed them. They are to regular blossoms as beluga is to salmon roe.
What is this? Flummery.
We went to ancient Greece not only for our name, but for other precedents. The goddess of youth was cupbearer to the gods. So it is our custom to be waited on by maidens in appropriate attire.
Aristology is the science of dining. Therefore, you gentlemen are all witlings. Dining is not a science, it's an art.
Then as an actor, a man who lives to embody art, I agree we must change our name. We'll appoint a committee right after dessert, but until then, let us indulge ourselves.
Wolfe had begun to boil. I only hoped that Fritz's blini and caviar would keep him under control.
New idea. Putting sand in caviar? Are we chickens that we need grit?
Thank you, monsieur.
What does he know? He had 3 flops on Broadway this season, and he deserved them all.
Superb. Yes, I must have the recipe.
Any sand?
Please excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Gentlemen, I, Vincent is in considerable pain and a doctor has come. There's nothing we can do, so we may as well proceed.
The Aristologists all resumed with the pheasant, but the spirit wasn't the same. The annual dinner of the 10 for Aristology was a flop.
Excuse me.
Hewitt left the banquet 3 more times, and when he rose from his chair for the 4th time, Wolfe went too. I figured he was at a rolling boil now and wanted to glower at Vincent Pyle for spoiling Fritz's dinner.
Did he say anything?
He keeps repeating Jack and the pulpit.
Jack and the pulpit? That's a wine flop.
No, that complete flop. He backed last spring. He lost a small fortune.
What does he complain of?
The money, of course.
No, I mean the symptoms.
Oh,
symptoms.
Well, it's food poisoning. He vomited, he fainted, his throat's very sore, his mouth is dry, but his skin is cool. Oh, Wolfe, I'm sorry. I can't believe that Fritz could be responsible for it.
That's preposterous.
But what else could it be?
Forward!
Wolfe, where are you going? What are you up to? This is nothing but an unfortunate incident. What are you gonna do in my house? Wolfe!
Forward! Confound it!
Ladies, will you make room for Mr. Wolfe, please?
I have gathered you for a purpose. My conclusions may be proven wrong, but I must act on them in any case. I remind you that the first course brought to the table was caviar. The portion served to Vincent Pyle contained arsenic. Mr. Pyle is upstairs, attended by doctors, and will probably die within the hour.
Oh, my God.
I am speaking. I speak not of facts, of course, but of conclusions formed by me.
Arsenic? How do you know?
From the symptoms, a burning throat, faintness, dry mouth, I concluded it was the first course. 1, because of the amount of time it takes for arsenic to act, and 2, that Mr. Pyle complained of sand in the caviar.
But I assure you...
I repeat, I need no assurances from you, Fritz. Who prepared the plates?
Sultan and I, here.
And they were taken from that table by the women?
From the pantry.
Yes.
I watched them, Mr. Wolfe. I saw nobody put arsenic in anything.
No, of course not. Which one of you took the plate to Mr. Pyle?
Well, I did.
Which one of you?
Speak up there, Red.
I didn't.
I heard Felix assign you to him.
Yeah.
And I saw you with my own eyes give him the soup.
But I didn't take him that first thing. He already had some.
But you were supposed to.
Yeah, I was supposed to. I took the plate from that table there and I started to serve him and I saw that he already had a plate and I thought I made a mistake, so I gave my plate to you.
Indeed. Who was assigned to me?
I was. Helen Iacona.
Did you bring me the first course?
No. Well, when I saw that Peggy had already served you, I didn't want to make a fuss, so I just gave mine to the man at the end.
Who was assigned to him? Felix, the child.
Yeah, that was my table in the I was sitting here.
It was so simple. All Wolfe needed was to get one girl to admit she hadn't delivered her caviar. But it turned out to be a game of Ring Around the Rosie, although a better name would be Passing the Buck.
Finally, to you, Miss Faber. Miss Faber, you were assigned to Mr. Hewitt, correct?
I sure was.
But you did not serve him since he was served by
Lucy Morgan.
By Miss Morgan, thank you.
I sure didn't.
What did you do, Miss Faber?
Nothing. There wasn't any caviar left when I got there.
Nonsense. There were 12 of you, and there were 12 at the table, and each received a portion. How can you say that there wasn't any?
Because there wasn't. I was in the John fixing my hair, and when I come back, Lucy's taking the last one from the table. So I asked Sultan where mine was, and he says he didn't know. And then I went to the dining room, and everybody had one.
Yeah.
How long were you in there?
I don't know. I didn't time it.
When I came here, I thought it would be simple to learn who had served the poisoned food. But you, and now I speak to the poisoner. You must have extraordinary faith in your attendant angel, for you took great risks. You took a plate from Zoltan's table, and on your way to the dining room, you put arsenic in the caviar, using a device, perhaps a paper spill. You served Pyle, came back immediately to get a second plate, and gave it to one who had not been served. You may be fleering at me inwardly, for it was a remarkably adroit stratagem. But you cannot possibly be impregnable, I warn you. Archie, you have the skill. Make sure none of these women leaves.
Quiet! You're not going anywhere.
Zoltan, you were there when the plates were handed out.
I didn't look at their faces, and they were all dressed alike.
Fritz, I was at the range with the flounder.
Felix, I have neglected you purposely to give you time to reflect. You were in the dining room. I look to you for the fact itself. I look to you to point her out.
I cannot.
Pfui! You are trained to see everything.
True. And I knew you would ask me this, but I cannot answer. I can only explain.
I've always found you to be worthy of trust, Felix. But it is possible that in your exalted position at Rustamans, that you have chosen to dodge rather than to admit involvement in a poisoning. Are you dodging, Felix?
Good God, Mr. Wolfe. No. No. I am involved. I am involved. I saw nothing except that stupid girl, Quinn, Marjorie Quinn. It was a horrible gaffe. Horrible. As soon as I saw that she was going to touch the blini with her fingers, I had to move in. Fast.
Zoltan, what are you thinking?
So I was looking at the flower.
The wretch has incredible luck. Incredible luck.
Oh, there you are. Our custom is to ask the chef to join us with champagne, which is barbarous but gay. But of course, under the circumstances...
Is Mr. Pyle still alive?
Oh, we hope so. We sincerely hope so.
There's been no word for an hour.
I suppose I should go up.
Gentlemen, I have discovered the artifice which the culprit used, but not her identity.
Aren't you a bit premature? There may be no culprit. An acute and severe gastric disturbance.
That's nonsense. I am too provoked for civility, sir. By a remarkable combination of luck and cunning, she has thus far eluded identification. I appeal to you, all of you. I want you to close your eyes and recall the scene. Imagine yourselves sitting in your places. The girls come in with the caviar. Who served Vincent Pyle? Which one was it? Who served Mr. Pyle? Who?
It's gone. I must have seen it, but it's gone, utterly.
I didn't see it. I saw it.
I don't recall it.
Then I'm in for it. Gentlemen, I am your guest, and I do not wish to be offensive, but I am to blame for enticing Fritz Brenner to this deplorable fiasco. And when Mr. Pyle dies, as I'm sure he will,
Vincent Pyle is dead half an hour ago.
Okay, ladies. Down this way. Straight ahead.
Can I help you?
It's a request for the sergeant. I'm the doctor.
Hey, Fritz.
Sergeant, you've got to take...
Quit twisting my words around. I didn't charge you with complicity. I merely said you were concealing something. What the hell is that to scrape your neck? You always do.
everyone omits something, if only because to include everything is impossible.
You witnessed the commission of a murder, and you failed...
It was not a murder until he died.
All right, a felony. But you didn't report it to the...
That was a felony had been committed was my own conclusion, not a fact.
Then why did you start questioning witnesses, interrogating...
the conclusion.
God damn it, will you let me finish one sentence? Just one?
If it has import.
You knew Pyle was dying. You said so.
Yes, that was also my own conclusion. The doctors were still trying to save him.
All right, those three men. Fritz Brenner, Felix Corbet, and Zoltan Mahani. We can forget about Brenner. But it's hard to believe the other two didn't know who served Pyle.
Yes, indeed, indeed. They are highly trained men.
Now let me question you on a theory. In the trash container in the kitchen, we found a plain white sheet of ordinary paper, rolled up in a tube, held with tape, smaller at one end. And in that tube, the laboratory found particles of arsenic.
Yes, as I suspected, a paper spill.
And the only two fingerprints on that spill were Zoltan's. Now, he claims he saw it on the floor after dinner was served, picked it up, and threw it in the trash. Now, what's wrong with the theory that Zoltan poisoned one of the portions and then saw to it that a certain girl delivered it?
That is not only untenable, it's egregious. Why did one of the girls come back and get a second plate?
She was confused, nervous, dumb, and now she's too scared to admit it.
I suggested that Mr. Stebbins have the lab check the girls' pockets for traces of arsenic.
And they did, and it came back clean. So only Zoltan is tied to the arsenic. But Felix could have helped. Now, you know these men, Wolfe.
Yes, I know these men, but I do not answer for them. They might have a dozen murders on their soul, but they had nothing to do with the death of Mr. Pyle. And I shall unmask the conniving wretch who was responsible. Now, have you established the order in which the plates were served?
Now all we get is contradictions. I got the last 5, but the first 7 I can't pry it out of them.
Well, you have your army. Put them to work on it. I'm going home.
Always a pleasure. That wasn't so bad. I've never seen Kramer turn that shade of red.
Shall I cook breakfast?
There will be no breakfast until further notice. Archie, take a note up to Theodore. I will not be there at 9, probably won't be there at 4. So just make sure they're all here by 6 o'clock.
All of whom?
The girls. To see them singly would be interminable.
I have a suggestion. Why don't we postpone operations until you get your wires connected? Or an aspirin. Do you want an aspirin?
I want that.
Well, here comes one now. Helen Iacono. She must have heard you. Now, shall we keep her until we gather the rest, or what?
Confound it. Bring her.
I came because you're a detective, and you're very clever. And I'm afraid that they'll find out something that I did, and if they do, then I won't have a career. So, I've decided to tell you my secret, and if you'll help me, then I'll help you.
Well, I can't keep a secret if it's a guilty one. Is it a crime?
No.
Then proceed.
I stabbed Vincent Pyle, and I got blood all over me.
Miss Iacono, ordinarily, stabbing a man is considered a crime.
Well, that's why I'm telling you.
When and where did this happen?
3 months ago in his penthouse. Of course, I knew all about Pyle. Everyone does. But they were about to start casting for Jack in the Pulpit, and I didn't know that it was going to be a flop. And if a girl wants to have a career, she has to be sociable. And then he turned into a beast. So I grabbed a knife from the table and I stabbed him. And then I went home and tried to get the blood out of my cardigan, but it left a stain. That cost me $46.
$46. But Mr. Powell recovered.
Oh, yes. I don't know if he backs shows just so that he can get girls, but it might as well be. And I don't just mean taking them out, I mean the last ditch. That's what we say on Broadway, if you know what I mean.
I can surmise.
Well, sometimes we say the last stitch.
The last stitch.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think that the police will find out?
Well, the police are not simpletons. You wouldn't be arrested for murdering Mr. Powell last night simply because you stabbed him in self-defense in the past.
But if they were to find out right away, then that would be the end of it, and I would be okay. Only, I don't think that they will find out right away. But you could, if I were to help you. See, I can't help the police because they'll wonder why.
I see. And how would you propose to help me?
Well, if you're right, and one of the girls went back to the kitchen twice, that means it has to be one of the last 5 girls. Peggy Choate, Nora Jarrett, Carol Annis, or Lucy Morgan.
Or you?
No, not me.
Not you.
There's a lot of talk about the girls that Pyle gets, but nobody knows for sure because he's very careful. But I could talk to those girls, and I could find out which one went to the last ditch with him, and then I could call the police, and I could tell them that I saw her going back to the kitchen for a second plate. You didn't think a 20-year-old girl could help you, did you? I saw the look on your face when I said it.
Miss Iacono, it's possible that you're oversimplifying the problem. Mr. Pyle was in agony, but he could speak. Why did he not denounce his poisoner? Surely when he saw this woman serving him, he was put on guard.
He didn't see her. She came up from behind him, and he didn't know that she wanted to poison him. Men don't understand how a girl feels. Look at me. Pyle thought that I would give up my virtue and my honor for a part in his play, and it was a flop.
Miss Iacono, we are dealing with a malign and crafty harpy, and I will not be a party to your peril.
What?
I don't think you should go and see these women alone, but I will propose an alternative. Mr. Goodwin will arrange a meeting with you and him and the girls.
Oh, like a party?
Yes, like a party. Mr. Goodwin is a well-trained investigator and knows how to beguile.
Okay.
All right, before you leave, speak to Mr. Goodwin about the details, and good luck in your career.
Nora Jarrett's apartment was on the 4th floor of an old walk-up near Amsterdam Avenue. It was furnished and had the kind of hominess that places get when they're used by a lot of different people for 50 or 60 years. Our hostesses were Peggy Choate, the redhead, and Nora Jarrett, with the dimples.
What do the police think?
Well, the police think that one of you killed Pyle because you were the last 5 to serve a plate.
And I thought you were nice.
How do you know what they think?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Well, I know what I think.
What's that?
I think it was Zoltan. He's a chef at Rusterman's, and Nero Wolfe is the trustee there, and so he's the boss there. And I think Zoltan hated him and tried to poison him, but he gave the poison plate to the wrong girl.
Well, that's fantastic. The police wouldn't buy any of it.
What would the police buy?
Well, anything that fits.
They think one of us served 2 plates and poisoned Pyle.
They're a bunch of dopes. They get an idea, and then they haven't got room for another one.
And there's no proof any of us went back for another plate.
And come on, even if she did go back, there's no proof that she didn't do it by accident.
Well, yeah, but there is. There is. Now, it's a little tricky, but look, I brought something. Could you move the snack tray? All right, now, gather around. Let's play a little game here. This here is the seating chart from Felix's dinner there. Now, what I have here is 12 little pieces of colored paper.
Why don't we write our names on them?
That's a very good idea, Helen. Now, here's the thing. Try to move the girl pieces so that one of them either takes out 2 plates at once or goes back for a second plate, but never gives one to Pyle. Right? It can't be done.
Why not?
Well, because either way you might happen to do it, there wouldn't have been 1 mix-up, there would have been 2.
I don't believe it.
Well, give it a try. Give it a try.
I served Nora's, and Nora served Lucy.
My memory has had a long and stiff training under the strains and pressures Wolfe has put on it, but I wouldn't undertake to report all the combinations they tried, even if I thought you cared.
I served Nora's.
I give up.
Can't be done.
It's just a trick.
Well, I can't believe that one of us deliberately poisoned a man. Point at her, smarty pants. I dare you to. Point her out.
Well, if I could, would I be bothering the rest of you? Okay, one by one. Let's go. Did you know Pyle?
Of course. Everybody in show business does. I met him at a party and came backstage at the Coronet once.
Miss Morgan.
You call this helping us? I danced with him once at the Flamingo. That was the closest I'd ever been to him.
Yeah, all right. Miss Choate.
No, I never had the honor. I just moved here from Montana.
Miss Jarrett?
Sure. I mean, I saw him all the time at Sardi's. But that is the only place that I ever saw the Great Pyle. And I wasn't with him.
Okay. All right. Helen.
I never met him.
So you said. Now, if one of you poisoned Pyle, and I hate to say it, but I just don't see any other way around it, one of you is lying. Right here and now, one of you is lying.
Well, now you've got us all suspecting each other.
Archie Goodwin, a girl's best friend.
This is no Broadway production. If you don't want to tell the cops that you went to the last ditch with Pyle, then tell me. And if one of you saw some girl serve Pyle a plate, and you don't want to tell the cops, tell me. I'll tell the cops I wormed it out of you. But let's have it. Let's have it right here and now. Well, we're gonna go to Nero Wolfe's office. I don't say he can sort this out just by snapping his fingers, but he may surprise you.
All right. This is getting too damn painful. Come on.
I'm surprised at you, Goodwin. These ladies need their sleep.
Pearly Stebbins. Wax my shoes. Greetings and welcome. Welcome, yes.
Button it.
Where were you, in the bathroom?
Button it, I said. You ladies relax. You're under arrest for obstructing justice.
Under arrest, huh? Well. Where are the cuffs?
Clown if you want to. Let's go.
Evening, ladies.
Bye, Archie.
Since Stebbins had less reason than usual for arresting me, I was home by 2 a.m.
So what are your conclusions from all this?
Well, my basic conclusion is I came up with nothing.
You're saying it must be left to the police, that I can expose her only by a stroke of luck?
Or genius. I make no conclusions about genius.
Then why the devil were you going to bring them here at midnight? Don't answer. I know, to badger me. What is it?
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but the watercress we have been delivered is at least a day old.
Again?
Yes, sir.
I must see this abomination for myself. What?
There is another matter, sir.
Yes?
Felix and Zoltan would like an appointment with you after lunch, and I would like to be present.
Is there something wrong at the restaurant?
No, sir. Concerning the misfortune of Tuesday evening.
What about it?
It is better that they tell you, sir. It is their concern.
Would 2:30 be convenient?
You want me to go pry it out of him?
No.
So this isn't urgent?
It might be. Well, there is no one more obliging than Fritz. There is also no one more steadfast when he takes a stand. So we should not press him. Going to check on the
day-old watercress.
Felix, Zoltan.
So, what did he say?
He asked if 2:30 would be convenient.
Nothing else?
You will be quiet. Nothing else?
Nothing else.
I took a collection in the restaurant. All the staff contributed. All the preparation, of course. Can't expect the busboy to contribute as much as...
Now,
I have...
No, you cannot.
Ah, I said be quiet. Huh? No. You cannot.
If that is how it is to be.
For the maître d'hôtel and one of our chefs to assist at a dinner where a guest is served poison. This is not pleasant. A few of our most desirable patrons, they make jokes, but most do not. And some of them don't come.
I have avowed my responsibility. Have you come for the gloomy pleasure of reproaching me?
No, sir, of course not.
Of course not.
We wish to engage your professional services. We know it wouldn't be proper to pay you from restaurant funds, since you are the trustee. So, we will pay you from our own money. We appeal to you.
We appeal to you.
Pfui!
He said pfui.
For years, I heard.
I wish to be present so I could add my appeal to theirs. I offered to make a contribution, but they said no.
Gentlemen, I am solely to blame for this affair, and you offer to pay me now to clean it up? It's preposterous. I mean, you should know that I have already bestirred myself, Archie.
Yes, sir. At least you have bestirred me.
Your coming here today is opportune. Now, I have concluded that the only way to manage this affair is to provoke the wretch into betraying herself. Now, I have conceived a plan for which I must enlist your cooperation, Zoltan. Do I have it? I mean, may I depend on it?
But yes, but how?
You are to phone 5 of those women this afternoon, starting with Helen Iacono. And you are to ask her to meet you at Rusterman's. You will then say to her that you saw her returning for a second plate, but that...
But I didn't, I told you.
But that because you desire her, you do not wish to go to the police. The only requisite is that she must be convinced that if she does not meet you, then you will go to the police at once.
Then if she agrees, she's guilty.
No, no. An innocent woman may agree for several reasons, depending on her temperament. Now, gentlemen, let us rehearse.
Okay, now look, we gotta take it from the top. It's like opening a beautiful Christmas present.
I've stayed silent until now because I couldn't believe anyone as beautiful and charming as you could be guilty of such a crime.
Lower your voice.
Oh, Sultan, how can you be so cruel?
I have to reveal what I saw. Of course, if we were to become friends, that would change everything.
Oh, Sultan.
Exemplary.
Is that good?
Excellent performance.
Is that good? Are you kidding? I've never rated above satisfactory. So you ready for a real woman?
Wolfe went up to the plant rooms, and Zoltan began by calling Helen, while I listened in on the extension.
Of course, if we were to become friends, that would change everything. I could never betray an intimate relation. She hung up.
All right, next up is Lucy Morgan.
We offered the girls different appointment times, just in case one of the innocent ones decided to meet Zoltan. We also told Kramer about the scheme, which was a good thing, because when Helen Iacono hung up on us, she immediately called the district attorney.
Well, Peggy Choate's not coming. No, we have to hold on with the redhead you never can touch. Felix, look at this. Me, if I had to write this stuff down, I'd use 1 p.m. But policemen, they're trained to do it right. Oh, can it? Will you, Goodwin? Knock it off.
It's preposterous.
Who, me or him?
They have the temerity to sell this horse fodder as fresh watercress. Is this the other shit?
It looks fine. It looks fine.
Shall I do a countdown?
You'd clown in the hot seat, wouldn't you?
Wait, she's here.
And so it was Carol Annis with the brown hair. But there was still no salt on her tail yet. She could claim she thought she was being framed and came to get the goods on Zoltan. It was up to him to get the goods on her.
Will you have a drink?
I don't want anything.
It is more friendly if we eat. The spaghetti with anchovy sauce is excellent. I had some.
You've already eaten.
Oh, but only to taste. Come, eat.
No,
No, eat.
Oh, all right.
Hans? 2 spaghettis anchovy for us?
Oui, monsieur. How's he gonna trap her into admitting she's a killer?
He'll find a way.
He's a cook. He ain't you.
Mistaken, Mr. Mahaney. You didn't see me go back for another plate because I didn't.
But I'm not mistaken, my dear. But it would be nicer if you call me Zoltan.
Well, I might someday. It depends.
Monsieur.
Thank you.
How could I be mistaken when the first moment I saw you, I felt? But I will not try to tell you how I felt.
Oh, no, do.
If any of the other girls had come in for another plate, I would have stopped them. But before you, I was dumb.
Yeah, I see. So you're sure?
I am, my dear, very sure.
But you haven't told the police? No. Or Nero Wolfe? No. Or Archie Goodwin?
I've told no one. How could I? It is terrible for me to say you've killed a man. If you weren't wearing the veil, I would look into your beautiful eyes, and I know I would see suffering and sorrow.
He's overdoing it.
No, he's perfect. You should take notes. You might learn something.
Yes. Yes. That's why I'm wearing the veil, Mr. Zoltan. Because I know it's in my eyes.
He made you suffer.
Oh, he ruined my life.
No, my dear. Your life is not ruined, no matter what he did.
I never thought I'd ever let a man touch me again, but the way you... Oh, well, I'm glad you know I killed him. But
Yes.
it's better now that somebody knows, huh? Oh, I had to kill him. I had to. Or I would have had to kill myself.
Yes.
It just makes me so hungry, you know? It just makes me want to...
Wait. Don't eat that. The cheese. Where's the cheese? The spaghetti with anchovy sauce is not served without cheese. This is an outrage. It's unbelievable. Wait. When I return, we will discuss our future.
Yeah.
No, I just...
Outrageous.
I'll take that.
You tricked me.
Yes, and you have injured and humiliated Mr. Fritz Brenner, one of my most valued friends.
You lie.
And I wished him to witness your humiliation, contrived by me in my presence.
That's enough of that.
I admit my reason is puerile.
Oh, then you're no better than Pyle.
You may have been intolerably provoked by Mr. Pyle, but not by Zoltan. He presented himself not as a leech or a nemesis, but as a bewitched and befuddled champion. He offered you his homage. Your counteroffer was death.
No, you lie. And he lied. He said he saw me, but he didn't. He couldn't. He
you have not
threatened
been
me.
told. The conversation was overheard.
You lie.
This is not the trap. The trap has already sprung, and you are caught in it. My rancor is appeased. Actually, I would
That's
prefer...
enough of that, Wolfe. I didn't agree to let you preach at her all night. Take her out of here, Sergeant.
May I say something?
Go ahead.
Mr. Wolfe said that you injured me. That is true. It is also true that I wanted him to find you. I cannot speak for Felix. You tried to kill Zoltan, and I cannot speak for him. But I can speak for myself. I forgive you.
You lie.
All right, let's get out of here.
Let's go.
You lied.
What?